Would you stay silent? Or let revenge speak for you? Welcome to the stories on Shattered Vengeance. Step into a world where love turns dangerous, revenge feels inevitable, and every story drags you deeper into the shadows of desire, betrayal, and the human heart. Let's begin today's story. The bankruptcy filing appeared in my Google Alerts at 6:47 a.m. on a Wednesday. Chapter 7 Bankruptcy. Daniel and Patricia Morrison. Total debts, $340,000. The filing listed their assets: furniture, 2 vehicles, jewelry, retirement accounts, and my warehouse at 2847 Industrial Boulevard. Property description: 12,000 square foot industrial warehouse, 3 manufacturing tenants, $8,400 monthly rental income, estimated value $950,000. Listed as family property held in trust for benefit of all family members. I'd purchased that warehouse 5 years ago for $680,000. Title solely in my name. I paid the taxes. I managed the tenants. I collected the rent. But according to their bankruptcy filing, it was a family asset they were entitled to protect from creditors. I called my attorney Rebecca Walsh before I'd finished my coffee. They listed your property in their bankruptcy? That's federal bankruptcy fraud. Did they have any ownership interest? None. Not a dollar invested. Not on the title. Forward me the filing. I'll contact the bankruptcy trustee immediately. My parents had $340,000 in debt from decades of decisions. The boat they couldn't afford. The timeshare they never used. The lifestyle requiring $12,000 monthly while earning $6,500. When the debt caught up, their solution wasn't facing consequences. It was claiming my property and hiding it from creditors using bankruptcy protection. The ghost ledger. I opened a spreadsheet. Title: The price of being their Plan B. Item: 2019. Dad's emergency medical bill. $6,500 paid to hospital. 3 months later, new jet skis. Cost: $6,500 plus the word emergency, losing meaning. Item: 2020. Mom's temporary mortgage help. $3,200 monthly for 3 months. Lasted 8 months. Total: $25,600. Never repaid. Cost: $25,600 plus the fantasy they'd change. Item: 2021. Christmas. Expensive gifts to everyone while owing me $25,600. Mom, we can't look poor. Cost: realizing image mattered more than integrity. Item: every conversation about my luck. Never about 80-hour weeks. Never about sleeping in my office. Just, you've always been lucky. Cost: recognition. Respect. Item: this morning. They listed my $950,000 warehouse to hide from their creditors. Cost: the last belief that blood meant anything. Total: $37,100 documented. The emotional ledger showed the cumulative weight of being treated like an insurance policy they'd never paid premiums on. The origin point. I was 28 when my logistics business landed a major contract. 3 years of work. Finally, $450,000 annual revenue. I took my parents to dinner to celebrate. Dad's response: "That's great, son. Now your mother and I have been discussing retirement. With this new income you could help us accelerate it. Not congratulations. Just, how does your success benefit us?" I paid for dinner. $240. Drove home in silence. That night I decided I would build protected wealth. The kind with boundaries, documentation, legal barriers. The kind they couldn't claim or redefine as family money. The warehouse came 2 years later. I told them I bought a small commercial property. Never mentioned the size or income. But they'd researched it anyway. Found the records. Calculated the value. And when their debt consumed them, decided my asset could become their protected asset. The system responds. Rebecca called within 2 hours. I spoke with bankruptcy trustee Gerald Chin. He's flagged the filing for investigation. He wants to meet tomorrow. What happens? You bring ownership documents. He'll verify sole ownership, remove the fraudulent listing, then refer it for criminal prosecution. Bankruptcy fraud is a federal crime. They're facing up to 5 years prison plus fines. Their bankruptcy gets dismissed, creditors resume collection. The trustee meeting. Gerald Chen's office. Fluorescent lights, government furniture, filing cabinets filled with bankruptcy cases. He was 50-something, gray suit, reading glasses, expression of someone who'd seen every scheme humans devise to avoid debt. I spread documents across his desk. Property deed, sole ownership. Purchase agreement from 2019. 5 years of tax receipts in my name. Lease agreements between Morrison Industrial Properties LLC and 3 tenants. Bank statements showing $8,400 monthly deposits. He reviewed everything. 20 minutes of silence. Finally, your parents have 0 ownership interest. Correct. No cosigner. No financial contribution. No management role. No contractual relationship whatsoever. None. He removed his glasses. Yet they listed it as a family asset, claimed it generated family income, and requested protection from liquidation. Yes. Did they ask permission? I learned from Google Alerts this morning. They haven't contacted me in 6 months. More notes. Have you ever told them this was family-owned? Never. I explicitly told them it was my business investment. Sole ownership. He looked up. Mr. Morrison, I'm referring this to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Your parents committed federal crimes. Concealment of assets, except these aren't their assets. Fraudulent filing. False statements under penalty of perjury. What happens to their bankruptcy? Dismissed. Creditors can resume collection immediately. They'll lose everything. And when prosecuted, they're facing federal prison. Will I testify? Yes. Your testimony plus these documents make this ironclad. He paused. I've been a trustee 19 years. I've seen people lie about assets, hide money. But I've never seen someone claim property they have 0 connection to. The audacity is remarkable. Vescate. The first call came 3 days later. Dad's number. Voicemail. His voice desperate. There's been a terrible mistake with the filing. The trustee is calling it fraud. This is a misunderstanding about the warehouse. You need to explain it's family property. Call now. I deleted it. Mom called 6 times. Then their attorney. Then my brother Kyle. Kyle's message. Mom and Dad are facing prison because of a clerical error. Just tell the court the warehouse is family property. Why are you being selfish? I blocked his number. Rebecca forwarded the trustee's report 2 days later. 8 pages documenting fraud. Conclusion. Debtors knowingly listed assets they do not own to shield from creditor claims. Recommend immediate dismissal and criminal prosecution. The bankruptcy was dismissed that afternoon. The FBI interview. Special Agent Lisa Rodriguez contacted me 11 days later. Federal building meeting. Early 40s, sharp eyes, methodical demeanor. Mr. Morrison, I need to understand the relationship history that led to your parents claiming your property. Explained it all. Years of financial requests. Money never repaid. The expectation that my income was their safety net. The warehouse purchase they'd researched. The filing revealing their belief. What was mine was theirs. She took notes. When I finished, this isn't a misunderstanding. No. They researched your property. Found exact square footage, tenant details, rental income. Listed it with specific figures in a federal filing signed under penalty of perjury. That's premeditated fraud. Yes. She closed her notebook. The U.S. attorney will prosecute. Both will be charged with bankruptcy fraud, false statements, and concealment. Given the property value and deliberate nature, they're facing 18 to 30 months federal prison plus restitution. The internal reckoning. That night I stared at the warehouse lease agreements. 3 tenants. All paying on time. A property I'd built from nothing. There's a concept called the sunk cost fallacy. You keep investing in a losing proposition because you've already invested so much. I'd been playing that game with my family for years. Surely the next loan would be the last. Surely they'd appreciate the sacrifice. Surely blood would mean reciprocity. But bankruptcy fraud showed the truth. They weren't bad at math. They were bad at boundaries. The warehouse represented delayed gratification. I'd worked 90-hour weeks for 3 years to save the down payment. Researched properties for 8 months. Negotiated with tenants, managed repairs, handled taxes. They saw a $950,000 asset to hide from consequences. I saw every sacrifice that built it. That was the difference. The prosecution. The indictment came 6 weeks later. United States versus Daniel Morrison and Patricia Morrison. 4 counts each. Bankruptcy, fraud, false statements, concealment, conspiracy. Their defense attorney contacted Rebecca. He wanted me to provide a statement saying they believed in good faith. The property was family-owned. Rebecca called first. Do they have evidence you ever said it was family property? None. He admitted that. He's hoping you'll lie to help them. I thought about the ghost ledger. About being 28 and hearing, how does your success benefit us? About boundaries dismissed. About the filing claiming ownership of property they'd never invested in. No statement. The prosecution can proceed. The trial lasted 3 days. The evidence was overwhelming. Property records showing sole ownership. The bankruptcy filing with detailed claims. Their signed statements under perjury. My testimony documenting zero family connection. The trustee's expert analysis. The federal prosecutor was thorough. She showed the jury the deed, my name only. Purchase agreement. My signature only. 5 years of taxes. My payments only. Lease agreements. My company only. Then the bankruptcy filing. Line by line. Family property held in trust. Generates income for family unit. Request exemption from liquidation. She told the jury, the defendants didn't make an error. They made a choice. A calculated choice to commit federal fraud to protect assets that were never theirs. Jury deliberated 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. Sentencing. My father. 22 months federal prison, 3 years supervised release, $23,000 restitution. My mother. 18 months federal prison, 3 years supervised release, $22,000 restitution. Total financial penalty, $68,000. Their house was foreclosed 3 weeks later. The bank sold it at auction. After mortgages and fees they received nothing. Both vehicles repossessed. Retirement accounts garnished. They reported to prison on the same day. Different facilities 200 miles apart. Kyle called once before they surrendered. You destroyed our parents over a warehouse. You could have said it was family property. You chose prison. I hung up without responding. The scorched earth ending. 18 months later they were released. I learned from public records, not from them. They moved to a rental apartment in a different state. Both working retail. Making restitution payments of $850 monthly. Banned from filing bankruptcy for 8 years. The warehouse continued generating $8,400 monthly. I'd raised rent twice during their incarceration. The tenants stayed. The income grew. I never visited them in prison. Never wrote. Never accepted collect calls. I returned every letter unopened. Refused. Kyle sent one final message a year later. They're struggling. Barely making rent. Still paying restitution. You won. Happy now. I read it once. Blocked him. Because winning wasn't the point. Protection was. They taught me that family means shared resources. I taught them that federal bankruptcy law doesn't care about feelings. That fraud has consequences. That courts don't accept but we're family as defense. The warehouse was mine. The title was clear. The income was protected. They'd wanted to claim my asset in bankruptcy. Instead they'd claimed 18 and 22 months in federal prison. The filing was dismissed. The fraud was prosecuted. The restitution was ordered. The boundary was permanent. Not drawn in anger. Not maintained through guilt. Enforced through the federal justice system that doesn't negotiate with people who commit crimes to avoid debts. The warehouse stands at 2847 Industrial Boulevard. 12,000 square feet. 3 tenants. Monthly income, $8,400. The title reads, Morrison Industrial Properties LLC. Sole owner, Christopher Morrison. Not family property. Right. The bankruptcy court confirmed it. The federal prison system confirmed it. The $68,000 in restitution they'll be paying for years confirms it every month. And I sleep perfectly well knowing the difference between family and fraud.